Welcome back from the break. We are here to continue with the great discussion. I hope you enjoyed what you had um, earlier by our very own, Provincial Fathers Union President, who is here to confirm or to affirm the importance of collaboration between mothers union and fathers union, men and women, because strong families cannot be built by men alone. They cannot be built by women alone,
Not
right?
at all.
And so we are going to continue this conversation and learn how we can work together.
Absolutely.
And as we ended, he talked about the 4 P's.
Oh, yes.
Because remember, we were talking about prioritizing.
Not balancing.
Family, not balancing, it is about prioritizing.
Yes.
And first, he said you must realize that you are a person and you must realize that you are a partner. And he also said that he's a parent. You need to realize that you are a parent and then a professional.
In that order.
In that order, from number one to the least. And so as we continue, it's very important to talk into the great roles, the great God-given roles of a woman and a man. And that's what we are going to delve into. Yes. And so, Mr. Makutana, in today's world, okay, is it postmodern or modern, as
wherever
you say,
this kind of world, you can't even categorize it now. Just call it the world.
So in today's world, gender roles have become, a major debate.
Big debate.
You follow all the things.
Oh, yes,
course,
I do. Seriously.
And so how can the Mothers Union and Fathers Union, right, encourage men and women everywhere to embrace their God-given roles in marriage?
Awesome. Thank you for that question. It's a long overdue conversation.
Sure.
And probably we needed a separate program on this one issue only.
Sure.
It's that big and deep and tall and
well, we have this time and we can actually get another day and delve into it. Yes.
So the first thing that the Fathers Union and the Mothers Union need to do in order to encourage men and women to embrace their God-given roles in marriage is to, first of all, clarify and understand them ourselves.
Exactly.
When you try to multiply a seed that is a wrong one, a bad one, there is a word I'm avoiding to use.
Please use it because
Should
we
I?
need the directive.
All right. So when you are multiplying a rotten seed,
yes.
you can be sure it won't germinate. So you need to first ensure that the seed is healthy.
Exactly.
And when the seed is healthy, and then you plant it, wherever you plant it in any soil, then you have healthy germination. You have a good plant, it produces a nice fruit. So the seed I am referring to here now is our own understanding of the gender roles in marriage as Fathers Union and Mothers Union.
Sure.
We need to first of all understand them ourselves, clarify them ourselves, have a mutual comprehension of what the roles are, and then we can be able to go out there and talk about them. So that's one. Secondly, we need to demonstrate those roles in a way that is godly. Demonstrate them. It goes back to exemplifying.
Exactly.
Because I can't stand up and say, men,
Get out.
you need to ensure that you provide for your wives. But when I look at my Miss Universe, they see a malnourished, impoverished, ramshackled woman. You get it? I must first of all exemplify provision, exemplify protection. They see that I protect my wife from my in-laws, from her in-laws, protect my wife from elements, natural elements, protect my wife from spiritual harm, then I can...
Even from other men, by the way.
Absolutely. They are part of spiritual harm. Then I can stand up and now look my fellow men in the face and say, my brothers, one of your roles is to protect your wife. Because now I have the moral authority. But also, number 3, what mothers and fathers need to do to encourage men and women to be able to embrace their God-given roles is to avoid promoting ungodly teachings about these roles. There is a way, sometimes I hear our conversations once in a while here and there in certain circles, you hear ungodly teachings in our midst.
In the Christian circles?
In Fathers Union and Mothers Union, to be specific. You hear a man stand up and say something, say, it sounds like almost right, but it's not exactly right.
Yeah.
Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says, in fact, let's begin from verse 1. Romans chapter 12 verse 1, which says, and finally, brethren, I beseech you by the mercies of the living God that you offer yourselves, your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable before God, because that is your most reasonable act of worship or service. And then verse 2 says, and do not conform yourselves to the standards of this world, but let God transform you by the renewal, not removal, renewal of your mind, so that you may approve or understand God's will, which is good and pleasant and perfect. So the word of God warns us against propagating the ways of the world. The church is supposed to get into the world. The world is not supposed to get into the church. And I don't mean that ungodly people should not come to church. That's a wrong interpretation of what I've said. What I mean is that the way the world does things that are ungodly and wicked should not be the way the people of God are also doing
it. Like we go and copy. We do exactly as they do.
There is one time when I was invited to go and proclaim the gospel on an open air crusade in one of the barracks is not far away from where we are here at Family TV. Guess what? Before I came up to speak in that barracks, then they invited some choir to lead praise and worship. So they said, let's now welcome praise and worship. It was led by some young lady.
You felt like that. I
said, am I the one following this kind of... The girl was danced so provocatively. It was like she was in a nightclub. It was like she was in a quote unquote with the nank and the husband in the bedroom. You could see central government was very provocative. And I said, no way. The ways of the world have come to the church. So if we are to encourage the men and women to embrace their God-given roles, then we need to first of all stop promoting ungodly teachings about the gender roles. But also, the law of focus applies here. The law of focus says that whatever you focus on will expand for you.
That's right.
So you can go to a car bond to buy a car, and then you look around, you say, for Mothers Union, we have blue as our color. I think, let me take this unique blue car. I think it will look nice as I'm saying. Because it's not common. As soon as you drive out of the car bond with that blue car, you will see 3 blue cars passing by. Why? Because now you have focused on the blue car. These cars have been on the road, blue in color. But because you were not focusing on them, you did not see them. The law of focus. What am I talking about here concerning what you asked? We need to start to focus on men and women who are playing their gender roles well. We have over-focused on those that are not. We are focusing on men who are beating their wives. You are not focusing on Bakuta and I was never raised a hand on my wife in the last 16 years. But you are busy giving praise. We are busy giving praise to the men who are beating wives. So at the end of the day, what we are focusing on is expanding. We see more of it. We are focusing on women.
It normal,
Absolutely.
Which is not at
giving
all.
it visibility, promotion and marketing. I come from the business world. I am a businessman. And in the marketplace, concerning marketing and selling, we say whenever you are selling your product, don't mention the name of an organization or a business that sells another product. So, for example, if you are selling Family TV, so don't say, you see, for us at Family TV, we do this and this, but the other TV, and you mention the name. Now people say, oh, so there is that TV also. They say, let's tune in and see what he was telling us. Now they have watched it. If it is a soda, and you sell Family Soda, let's give it that name. You say it's Family Soda. Don't say, you see, there is this other one called the Tree Soda. Now somebody will say, let me drink it and see what he was telling me. He has bought one bottle already.
Marketing already. Anyway,
so we should stop marketing men and women who are misusing gender roles. We should start to market men and women who are living a godly marriage. the role of focus. But lastly, we need to somehow change our meetings from only being about operation to being big picture empowerment fellowships.
True.
Because once in a while I see that happen. When I became the chairperson of the Fathers Union in the parish,
Yes.
I found an environment where it was always more about meetings.
Like clubbing.
So please, you're welcome
something.
for the Fathers Union meeting. Welcome for the Fathers Union meeting. Welcome Fathers Union meeting. Welcome again for the Fathers Union meeting.
Same
Meeting,
thing
meeting,
over
meeting.
And, over and, over.
And we come for the meeting. There is an agenda, opening prayer, communication from chairman, reactions, way forward, closure. That's how fathers were meeting.
Very
Okay?
static. Very static, right?
And not only just static, by the way, I'm actually focusing on the substance of that meeting.
Exactly.
It's just business meeting. So I said, no, we will have to distinguish between two things. We are going to ensure we have times when we have the meeting, where we come with the agenda, opening prayer, communication from the chair, previous minutes, reactions, way forward, close, we go. And we will again come back, and now we have Fathers Union fellowship. Fellowship.
Exactly.
Where now there is no business of communication from the chair, previous minutes. No, it is now praise and worship. It is testimony. It is reading the Bible. It is sharing prayer requests. It is holding hands and praying, and we end the session.
Meaningful interactions.
Meaningful interaction is what I'm talking about. So if we are going to encourage men and women to embrace God-given roles, we need to put a microscope on the nature of our meetings and what they promote.
And be
when
more
you find
creative,
every time you meet, all you are talking about is bring this money for this, bring this money for this, we also have a money for this. Then every time you meet, we are going to be... When will you ever sit down and pray? When will you ever sit down and read the Bible? So if we are to help men and women, then we need to change our meetings from only being operational in nature to the big picture ministry engagements.
That's very profound.
Yeah.
Having that focusedness.
Oh, yes.
And then helping men and women to embrace their God-given role.
Yes.
Very important.
Absolutely.
But then there is this other side, which we need to deal with, where we have some fathers, even when they are present, can you imagine, remain passive in family leadership.
We call it presentism, not absentism.
Okay.
Presentism.
You see that one. So how can Mothers Union and Fathers Union help these fathers to take their leadership positions?
Wow. Let me first remind you that those fathers and mothers are the ones in Fathers Union and Mothers Union. So when we say, how can Fathers Union and Mothers Union help them? It's like they are now outside the Fathers Union.
Well, there are also those who are not yet,
of course,
but need the message anyway. Yes.
Yeah. The first thing to help the fellow fathers to understand is to realize that their greatest ministry starts at home. I think that's one thing we need to do. We need to have that message again and again and again and again. Keep sharing it. Keep talking about it at every opportunity, in every forum. And of course, that does not only apply to men, it applies to women too, to know that our first ministry begins at home. In fact, this man, John C. Maxwell, the author of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the author of the 17 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork, the author of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, the author of Intentional Living, and many other books. He said, and I quote, if your leadership fails at home, don't export it anywhere else. Period.
That's a huge point.
It's really big.
Very heavy.
So we need to help one another, especially fathers, to realize that the ministry that they do, the work they do, has to begin at home.
At home. Exactly.
Even things like provision, for example, 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. Do you know what it says? It says, if anyone does not provide for his relatives, especially the members of his own household, he has denied the faith and he is worse than an unbeliever.
That's not a very light scripture.
It's not. In central Uganda, there is a language called Luganda. They have a phrase. When you say something like this, they would say, "Akubyewo nnyo." Akubyewo nnyo.
Yes,
For the
I
non-Luganda
can
speakers,
relate.
it is something that means like, there
You've
you
hit
have
so
you have
hard.
hit so hard on the real
It's
point.
so hard, yes.
Yeah, and that is what Paul wrote to Timothy about. He said, if anybody does not play his roles right at home, he should not go out there to get any roles in the community. Precisely, that's what he was saying.
That's right.
It is restated in 1 Timothy chapter 3 when they are talking about the qualifications of the elders, the bishops, the leaders. He said it should be a husband of one wife, should be somebody who has managed his family well, having his children in subjection to him, you know.
But do you follow those things when you're choosing the leaders?
Which leaders?
The Fathers Union, the church council. You know, in the church, we are talking about.
Many times they remind us of those things, so I hope that the voters follow that because it's often by voting.
Yeah,
yes. So realizing that their greatest ministry starts at home. But secondly, is appreciating the cardinal role of the father in a family. We need to help men to realize their cardinal role in a family. The cardinal role of a father. The father is a mentor, the father is a model, the father is a minister. Model, mentor, minister. Model for the family, your children, your wife. Minister to them, touch their hearts, serve them, and mentor them, share experience. And lastly, understand that their absence has dangerous consequences.
And very important to even mention those consequences, you know, so that people can act.
They are generational in nature.
And avoid such things, you know.
They are generational in nature. Those consequences are generational in nature. You would have very many people in prison unnecessarily, and especially they will be male, because if you, the man, you've not done the right thing, your boy will think that's how life should be lived.
Yeah.
In 2023, Rotary Club International in Uganda carried out a research. They went to the prisons of this country in Uganda, and they found out 74,444 inmates in all our prisons. And out of those 74,444, 70,424 were men.
Goodness.
95% of prisoners in this country are men. They went to 2 remand homes in Naguru and in Kampirinjisa. In Naguru, they found there young people, inmates between 12 and 17 years. They were 156 of them. Out of 156, 153 were boys. They went to Kampirinjisa. They found there 161 inmates of 12 to 17 years. Out of 161 were boys.
Oh my God, that statistics are so overwhelming.
Absolutely. So the men need to realize that the consequences are there.
And of course, you mentioned somewhere about the young people.
Yes.
And so to build strong families, we must start preparing these
yes.
young people early enough, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so what mentorship programs can we as Fathers Union and Mothers Union put together or initiate to equip our young people?
We have to first of all appreciate the fact that it is better and easier and more cost effective to build a young man than to wait and mend a broken one who is an adult. So we need to find a way to put in place opportunities to live life together with the young people. And that's where I'm beginning from. We may be looking, whereas men and women are looking for methods, God is looking for men and women.
That's right.
So if we are looking for a program, mentorship program, let's realize the first one is us living life with them.
Yeah.
Let me call it relationship empowerment, being with them wherever they are. We also need to organize some training opportunities for them. And it should be opportunities for them in areas that are relevant to them, not relevant to us. That's another mistake we've been making as fathers and mothers. We organize something for young people, and we are the ones choosing all the topics, and we don't. But then the topics you are giving to them in a training are irrelevant to their current needs. But suppose you asked them, what are some of the issues you're dealing with about which you need to be equipped?
That's right.
Then you would find out amazing things. We also need to organize camps, youth camps, and ensure, now, we are organizing them, but here is the challenge, and ensure that we go there to the youth camps and spend some time with them. Last December, we were supposed to go up country as a family But then these young people invited me to be with them in the camp and be the theme expositor for 4 days. So I said, you know what, my wife, let us find a way to wrap our Christmas season around this camp.
Yes.
So,
Okay, that
yes.
was a good one. Very
Yes.
good initiative.
So what we did was to get our 2 children register for the camp.
Okay.
So we paid for the camp.
Yes.
Both of them became full-time participants in the camp. And then my wife and I, we went to a nearby nice hotel because we wanted to join 2 things: the ministry of the camp and our time as a marriage.
Exactly.
So we went to that place, and then in the morning we would come, go to the camp, spend the whole day with them, and leave at about 3 or 4. Then also have our evening alone as husband and wife away from the camp venue. But we spent the whole week with them, 7 days. I am telling you, there are things they told me as individuals that they would never have told me if they met me at church.
Wow.
Right now, I am always responding to their WhatsApp messages
Which is
because
very
they felt we are close together. If I can be in their camp for 7 days, I am one of them in a way. So they now open up. Oh my, they told me things that many of their fathers and mothers don't know.
So we need to be more creative.
Organize creatively those camps and also go and be with them. And use both traditional and social media to reach out to the young people with
And
good
you know,
content.
there is also another team, another group of people that we really need to help and work with. The singles, I mean, they're out of school,
Exactly.
they are working,
Yeah,
and we need to create such space.
Organize singles
for them.
empowerment programs.
Exactly.
Deal with relationships. Those are the issues they are dealing with.
Those are the things.
Deal with influence
So
in the
we need
marketplace
to-
and getting
we
jobs
need
and
to find
friendship.
some time and we work on it so
Relevance.
that we can reach out to
Relevance
them,
is the
be
point.
relevant to them.
Yeah.
Our single friends,
Yes.
they have cried out, they have said it again and again, reaching out to them. So
Yeah.
we need to get something and be creative and help them
That's
in that mentorship program and conference.
That's
But
it.
as we wind up
Yeah.
our conversation, which has been so deep, I wish this time was here, would continue with this.
Yes.
You know that collaboration is very key.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, what are some of those small but immediate steps that we can take as Mothers Union and Christian women to work better together?
Do you also mean plus Fathers Union?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
I said
Mothers Union,
we. Did
Christian
I say?
women, and-
Did I say what? They say it is we Fathers Union
Uh-huh.
and Mothers Union.
Absolutely.
Yes, working
Okay.
together, men and women.
Yeah. For the sake of time, let me just outline the quick
It is
thoughts.
okay. It is well.
Number one, we need to first of all see each other as one family team, not 2 separate teams. Let's begin from there.
Okay.
So this is a mindset issue. Let's change our mind to see each other as people who belong to one team. Secondly, we need to mentally realize that we are not in a competition, but we are in a collaboration.
Yeah.
So let's mentally
Very
realize
important.
that.
Yes.
Number 3, let's practically plan together whenever possible. We can come together and plan together some things that we want to work on collaboratively. Number 4, let's share ideas in each other's ministry. When you, as the mothers, see something that could be done in the Fathers Union, you send that WhatsApp message, share that idea. And also when I see something that I think you could do or do better, be willing to let me share it with you.
Certainly.
But also next, we need to be open to receiving well-delivered feedback from each other. Because sometimes you find some people may not be good at receiving feedback that is well-intentioned.
But yet it's very important.
Oh yes, at Inspired Leaders International, we have a common statement that feedback is the breakfast for champions. Yeah. And then also, let's speak well about each other because that is very important. Wherever we are, let the fathers not be in a place and then they start to say, you see the Mothers Union, you see the Christian women, you see those ones. No, my brothers, no. Also you women, wherever you are, don't start saying, those men, we are on the same team. Hey, let us not be divided by the enemy. And let's see each other as destiny helpers, but not as problems to solve. Sometimes you hear some men talk as if women are a problem to solve. You hear some women talk as if men are a problem to solve. Yet they are destiny helpers. But also, maybe second last, we can have mutual leadership trainings for our leaders in the different places. Come together, train our leaders to do the work, and even have periodic fellowships together.
That's true.
to mention but a few.
Very good. Yeah, I know we shall have this conversation again and again, even when we are off our show.
Yeah.
And I believe that we shall build stronger families together
By God's grace.
By God's grace. And as we close, could you just share something about Mary's Day celebrations? Because this is a season we are enjoying, and we would like to hear from your side as our president, Fathers Union. How can you work with us about Mary's Day celebration?
Well, first of all, let all the mothers who are out there and you are married, you are wedded in church, but you haven't yet joined the Mothers Union, I request you to make the decision right now to join the Mothers Union. So that when we are talking about Mary's Day celebrations and all this season, it is meaningful to you too.
That's
and
right.
You don't have to be left behind. So sign up, go to your chairperson of the Mothers Union or any other leader in your parish or chaplaincy and express your interest in wanting to join the union. What are you waiting for? But then secondly, let all the women participate in the season. Because you can as well be a member of the Mothers Union, but you're not participating in these kinds of events. So it's important that you as members, all of you participate in this season. It is a season of celebrations, a season of reminding yourselves about the virtues that Mary exemplified that you need to also take on by the help of God. But also to you, the fathers who are out there, in this season, find a way, a practical way to support your wife who is going to be celebrating all these, the seasonal things, Mary's Day celebrations. Find a way, practically. I will leave it to you like that. Find a practical way to support your wife. I already know the things I will do to support my beautiful wife. But all of us at the end of the day, let us know that family is cardinal and central in building strong churches, strong professional institutions, strong communities, and strong nations. We all begin from there to go and impact all other spheres of influence.
That's right, yeah. So, Mr. Vakutana, it has been such a great pleasure having you on Crowned with Purpose.
Oh, yes.
You have shared so much wisdom that we as Mothers Union and Fathers Union can work together, hand in hand, in building strong families.
A family divided against each other will not stand, period. And like Dr. Warren Farrell said, that former male feminist, he said, when one sex wins, both sexes have lost. So
it has to be.
Mothers must not win alone. Fathers must not win alone. Both of us must hold our hands and move forward. Because when one sex wins, both sexes
have lost. Wow. Great wisdom indeed. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And to you, our viewers, we really appreciate. We cannot build strong churches. We cannot build strong families or strong nations without strong families. And so as we have heard from the deep conversation, we need to work together as Fathers Union and Mothers Union to build these strong families together, and create homes rooted in love, rooted in wisdom, and rooted in godly principles.
Absolutely.
And so we appreciate you. Thank you for choosing to be in this space of Crowned with Purpose here at Church of Uganda Family TV.
Do you think they need to tune in this Saturday
to
the Inspired Family Leader program?
That's what I was just going to
We will have that conversation this Saturday, tune in.
Yes.
9 to 10 p.m. We have the Inspired Family Leader program on this very program.
Wow, that is great. And so do not forget to tune in and be transformed every Saturday, 10 to 11. God bless you all.